Good evening. I'm Selwyn Collins, your host of CWS Conversations with Selwyn. Thank you for joining us this evening. Those of you who are joining us for the first time, a very special thank you. I am especially glad to be joined by this guest here tonight because, as I've mentioned on several occasions, that one of the facets of or aspects of CWS is to encourage our youth. And so I'm always looking for people who are doing extraordinary things or doing things extraordinarily well to inspire and encourage our youth. But more importantly, when they speak of their challenges and how they overcome them, that I hope can encourage young people to step beyond their limitations and their challenges. And I've often spoken to younger people about coming on the show, especially those who are doing positive things with their lives. One of the concepts I have is something called POP, which is an acronym that stands for Power Over Prejudice. See, I believe that it is important for young people to have adults, responsible adults in their lives as mentors and to some degree role models, even though someone said to me only a parent can be a role model. I will leave that up to the sociologists and social scientists. However, I believe that even though adults or older folks can make a positive impact on the lives of young people, I also believe that young people, other young people who are doing positive things with their lives can also make such an impact. And so I think of positive peer pressure because I do not believe that peer pressure has to be negative. It can also be positive. So tonight, my guest is Alex Beach, which I'll introduce to you after the break. And so I'll take a short break now, and when I return, I'll give to you Alex Beach. We are back. Those of you who are joining us for the first time, I'm your host, Selwyn Collins, of CWS Conversations with Selwyn. The lovely young lady next to me is Miss Alex Beach. Alex, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Very well. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
And,
of course. Thanks for having me.
and welcome to CWS. I invited you to share with us some of your life's experiences, not just because you're a young actress, but because, as I mentioned early on in my introduction, one facet of our show is to focus on young people who are doing positive things with their lives. This, I hope, can encourage other young people to step beyond their challenges and focus on developing their gifts and talents. I feel that if these conversations can communicate a message to the youth and make them feel empowered and inspired, then CWS would have accomplished one of its main goals. So let me just read a little bit about you. Alex Beach is a young actress who started her professional career 2 years ago, but she has always had a passion for the stage and screen. She has trained at the California Institute of the Arts, and in the last year, she booked her first job on Criminal Minds. Along with her acting, Alex has recently found a passion for directing. She was given the opportunity to assist and direct Rent at the Skylight Theater with a company of inspired young artists interested in producing their own work. Wonderful. Alex, a year ago you started your professional go. I should say 2 years ago, and you landed your first role in the TV series Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
When did you become interested in acting as a career?
As a career, I definitely have to say that started around my senior year in high school. Before that, it was really just something I did for fun. It was something, I did to kind of connect me closer to my father. But it wasn't really, really serious until I think my senior year in high school when I decided that that's what I wanted to do as a career.
Talking about your dad, I think I remember the moment he received that text that you got your role. He was on the show here with me and couldn't contain his excitement. And thankfully for me, it was at the end of almost at the end of the show, and he said, "Selwyn, love you, man. You're my friend and so on, but I gotta go. I'm all excited." And he got up. So
The funny thing is, I think you found out before I did.
you see, I was just about to ask that question. When did you find out, or how did you
Yeah.
find out?
My father found out before I did. I got home and I just hear him running down the stairs, and he was like, "Congratulations!" And I was like, "Congratulations on what?" So I think you found out before I officially found out.
So what was that like for you when you found out?
Um, Honestly, I can't even explain in words. I mean, I was at the time I was kind of down on myself a little bit. I hadn't been booking a lot of auditions, and when I found out, I couldn't really speak, and I was on the phone with my agent, and I was like crying, and my dad was really excited, and he was giving me big hugs, and he was tearing up a little bit. Don't let him tell you I said that.
He might be tuning in tonight.
But yeah, it was exciting. It was almost, it was just the first glimpse into, the possibilities of my career. So it was a great moment. I'll never forget it.
Let me ask you this: how much you believe growing up around people in the industry, including your dad, might have influenced your career path?
How they influenced it?
No, how much do you believe that had an influence on the path you chose for a career?
Oh, and the path. I think it had a huge influence in the path that I chose. Because I only really started acting in the first place to get closer to my dad. When I was younger, I kind of felt like it was this connection that we both had. He was, I wasn't good at sports. He was good at sports, but he was also an actor. And I was like, well, I'll be an actress, and I'll dance on stage and sing on stage. And so it's just something I was always interested in, to kind of feel closer to him. And it was just kind of the life I grew up around, so yeah, it's where I was comfortable.
Gotcha.
Definitely think that it had a huge part in me wanting to be an actress.
Were you nervous on set? And if you were, how did you deal with that?
I was extremely nervous on set. When I first got there, I didn't really know how to deal with it. But honestly, you're kind of there for a really long time not doing much. So I was really nervous when I first went on set. And then they showed me my trailer. And I was in my trailer for about 4 hours before doing anything. So my nerves kind of calmed themselves down. And I just, remembered to just keep looking at the script, focus on what I'm there to do. And that calms you down in a way. When you know that you've prepared fully for something, it's good to be a little nervous, because you should be nervous if you want to do well at something. But when you fully prepared, there's really nothing to be worried about.
I hear it.
I think nerves and worried are different. But if you're fully prepared, there's really nothing to be worried about. It's good to have a little butterflies in your stomach.
I got that. Did doing this part cause you to question whether this is what you want to do with your life, or encouraged you more?
Oh, it definitely encouraged me more. Absolutely. Yeah. I really haven't had anything that's made me seriously question what I want to do with my life. I've had bad experiences, but none of them have really made me question choosing another career. But it definitely put a fire under my butt and made me it solidified that this is what I wanted to do. I loved it. I loved it so much.
Gotcha. And how did this challenge you to be better at your craft, the experience you had on set?
Well, it challenged me to try and book more, because I feel like I wanted to be an expert. I wanted to know everything there is to know on set. I wanted to know the lingo, all of that, which I still am not 100% familiar with. But the more and more I work, the more familiar I'll get with set life and being on set. So it definitely made me want to book more, work more, get more comfortable on set.
Who among young actresses today are you admiring?
Am I admiring?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, Jennifer Lawrence. I love her. I think she's an amazing actress. I think she's gorgeous. I think she's got a really nice personality, which I love. Whenever you see her on interviews, she's amazing. So, and she's really talented. So I definitely look up to her as a young actress.
And you know, growing up in Hollywood, do you have friends in other areas of entertainment? And what are young people your age mostly interested in these days? Mostly interested in these days.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that are in different areas. Some of my closest friends are singers, and they actually just released their first EPs, and they raised the money themselves to do it, which is amazing.
Really?
Yeah, it's really great. They work 2 to 3 jobs in order to raise their own money to make their own EPs, and it's great. The passion that they have for it, it's ridiculous.
Let's spend a little time on that because as I mentioned to you, I'm so interested in encouraging young people. And here you are, very young. I'm not going to mention your age unless you want to, but you're definitely inspiring.
Thank you.
And here you have these young friends who grew up in that area, and I'm almost certain they have parents who do well financially. Yet they go out and earn for themselves.
Yeah.
Why do you think this is? Where does this independence come from?
Honestly, I don't know specifically where it comes from, but I definitely think it would have to be just the way that they're raised, you know, what they're taught by their parents, and then also surrounded by other young people that are doing the same thing. It kind of, you know, encourages them to continue to do it. Because, yeah, I surround myself with very talented and mature and driven young adults. So without them, you know, I would feel alone. I would feel like I was the only person doing this, but I know that I'm not. So I definitely think that friend group, that support from that friend group that I have is one thing that definitely keeps me going forward, you know.
I think there was a philosopher or motivational speaker who said to surround yourself by like-minded people if you want to be successful. And so I'm especially moved to hear young people your age are doing this, and that you gravitate to people that are of like minds. For young people that are listening, how important is that, Alex?
I'd have to say it's extremely important. I mean, my father always told me that the habits you create when you're young are the habits that you're going to have when you're an adult. So, you know, why not start at a really young age?
I like that.
Start being hardworking, you know, creating good habits. So when you're an adult or, you know, when you're older, it's not something you have to think about. It's just, you know, your nature. It's how you work.
I'm talking about your generation. What do you believe will surprise us about your generation and some of the creative work you're doing?
I definitely think like the independence from our generation will surprise people. I mean, I've met a lot of people who are independently doing their own thing. You know, they're not relying on a studio or a manager, or, you know, they're not relying on other people to try and do what they want to do. They figure out what they want to do and they decide, okay, how am I going to do it? And it's up to me. And I think that's really surprising.
You know, I have to say this, though, that for those of us who are much older, we grew up in an era where, you know, in publishing, you needed an agent, and in music, you needed an agent, and so on. And we were told that you have to have, there are certain things that you must have in order to make it. And then we discovered, or we were introduced to people like Jay-Z and the younger rappers and so on who went out and did it on their own, shifted the whole paradigm. And so your generation is the beneficiary of this sort of independence. What do you think would you say drives you guys, your generation, more to be so independent?
I'm not really sure. I know what personally drives me
Uh-huh.
is being told that I can't do something, or that I never will do something. That being told that by other people
Right.
just definitely puts a fire under me, makes me want to go, well, I can. And if you're not going to help me, then I'm going to do it myself. Is kind of um, how I've become that way. Told that I
are you
can't
the
do-
oldest child, Alex?
No, I'm actually smack dab in the middle.
You're the middle child.
Yeah, I'm the middle child.
Ah, I see.
So I was probably getting it from both ends. My older siblings saying, no, you can't do that. My younger siblings saying, no, you can't do that.
And you've proven them all wrong.
Yeah.
What story does your mom tell about you?
I'm sorry?
What story do you think? What story your mom tells about you?
What stories did my mom tell about me?
Story, one particular story. Would she, tell someone or tell a group of friends or someone about Alex, this beautiful daughter of hers?
Uh, well, there's one story that she tells that I've heard her tell many, many times.
Uh-huh.
That I always did things on my own terms, and she said that she knew that was just how I was going to be because when I was born, they actually had to go. I had to be a C-section. She was planning on a natural birth, but I had to be a C-section.
Wow.
Because I had turned myself around in the womb. And she said that I was just so ready to come out and I wasn't going to wait for anybody. And I was like, you guys have to come in and get me. She always tells that story to talk about how I always did things on my own time. And I guess that's true.
Does she and your dad share the same story or he has his own story?
Oh, my dad? Oh, he probably has his own stories. I'm not sure.
Do you feel pressured to do anything like reality TV to fast track your career?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, I just feel like if reality TV did anything for my career, it would kind of ruin it in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a fan of reality TV, as I'm sure a lot of people are, but it's just a different quality of entertainment than what I want to be involved in.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't personally, sign up to be a contestant or, I don't know what the correct term would be, somebody on a reality television show. No.
And for young actors like yourself, whose parents are well known in the industry, what kind of pressures do you face?
I'd have to say, people expecting a certain thing from you because they know your father or your mother or whomever, because they know their work or because they either expect you to be exactly like them or, be better than. But I really haven't felt pressured by that.
Mm-hmm.
But it is something that's there.
That's there. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't really felt a pressure from it because, everyone that's worked with my dad absolutely loves my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the only thing they're really expecting from me is for me to come in prepared, which they should expect. That's, I'm there to do a job and I should go in prepared to do the job. And just to be friendly, which I think people should expect from everyone,
And who are some of the black actresses you admire and respect?
Oh my God. There are so many. Oh goodness, I'm losing her name right now.
All right. Okay.
But the lead actress on Scandal, I love her. think she's
Oh,
amazing.
gosh, I'm gonna get creamed from my female friends for this. And it's
I'm really blanking on her
one of
name
my
right now.
favorites too.
What?
And she's one of my favorite actresses too.
Yeah, she's great. I loved her in Django. I mean, I love her on Scandal. Yeah, she's amazing, and she's gorgeous. And I think she's making a good name for black actresses. Definitely.
This is interesting. I call her name all the time, and now I'm drawing a blank.
Me too. I talk about her all the time, and for some reason I can't remember her name right now.
Somebody saved us in the chat room. Kerry Washington.
Kerry Washington. Thank God. I was gonna say that, but I thought I was wrong for some reason.
Having been trained at the California Institute of the Arts, and knowing what you know about acting, how would you say your experience and knowledge affect the way you look at movies today?
I'm sorry. Repeat the last part.
Okay. Having been trained at the California Institute of the Arts, and knowing what you know about acting, how would you say your experience and knowledge affect the way you look at movies today?
Oh, it affects it a lot. I mean, absolutely. But I've always kind of had a different way of watching TV and movies
Uh-huh.
than most people, just because of my father. We actually have this running joke with a lot of my friends that they can't watch movies with me because I analyze everything.
I can imagine.
Like I analyze, the story and the plot and, the acting, just everything.
Really?
And just like, I just want to enjoy the movie. And I'm sitting there, analyzing the whole movie. But it was something that my dad had always done. Mm-hmm. And it was just something that the family liked to do together. We would watch movies and, talk about it for at least an hour after the movie was over.
Wow.
And, talk about the things we didn't like or the things we did like or the things we thought didn't make sense. And, the acting on, that the different actors did, we would just discuss it for at least an hour after the movie.
What?
And so a lot of my friends do not like watching movies with me.
Well, what can you say is one or two things that you, having grown up in that environment with your parents in Hollywood and so on, and having been trained in acting, what is one thing that you would probably look for or pick up that the untrained eye or inexperienced eye would not pay attention to?
I can't think of like a general
Okay.
thing. I have some specifics from specific movies, but they would take way too long to explain.
Gotcha. I understand. I understand.
But just probably like one of the main things I definitely say is like in scripts, like in the writing of things, if the intention of the character like doesn't make sense, or the reason that the character is doing what they're doing or saying what they're saying doesn't really make sense, like I'll pick up on it really easily and it'll bother me.
Wow.
And like my father too, like we'll pick up on stuff that bothers us that nobody else would have looked at or even thought of. But it's hard to, I don't know, it's so specific to each thing. It's kind of hard to say a general thing that I would pick up on but that somebody else wouldn't. Yeah.
Do you enjoy, and this might be an unfair question, but I'm going to ask it, do you enjoy watching your dad movies?
Okay, see, it's really hard for me to watch my dad on TV.
Why is that?
I don't know why. It's just, it's weird. It's really weird for me. Because, his characters aren't anything like him. So I'll be watching it and I'm just kind of taken out of it because I'm just like, no, I know you. That's not you. So
Okay.
it's hard for me to watch my dad on TV.
But that just goes to show how very good he is then.
Yeah, no, he's great. I mean, definitely. I mean, he's a great father, a great actor. I look up to him.
Going back to Criminal Minds. What is it like being on set, and is it like a family atmosphere when you were filming?
Well, yeah. I mean, the the regular cast definitely had a family atmosphere. I mean, they'd been working together for so long. They were joking around, and they were extremely nice to me. I definitely wasn't a part of the family, but that's just because, I was there for one day, and they've been working together for years.
Understood.
But everyone was extremely nice, and they made me feel completely welcome. A lot of them had actually worked with my dad before.
Mm-hmm.
So they were coming up to me like, "Oh my gosh, I remember when you were a baby." And, I was just like, "Oh, hey, nice to see you again." But yeah, it was really fun. You could tell that everyone really enjoyed their job, and everyone was just happy to be there. And it made me even more happy to be there. Definitely.
What role are you dreaming of playing?
Oh goodness.
Or I should say, do you dream of playing?
Well, my favorite character is Lady Macbeth.
Really?
Yeah, I got to play in high school. We did this Shakespeare festival, and I got to play her in one scene, and it was just some of the most interesting work I'd ever gotten to do ever. I would love to actually play her and do the whole play. Yeah, it would be amazing. That would definitely, I'd say.
You like Shakespeare, or just that particular play?
Oh, I love Shakespeare. I used to read Shakespeare in middle school, and it wasn't an assignment. I would just read it because I loved it so much.
Really?
Yeah, and I would sit there and try to figure out the language and everything because I thought it was so amazing. Yeah, I love Shakespeare.
Wow. Do you feel pressure to be exceptional in your conduct and craft, being the daughter of a famous actor?
I do expect myself to be exceptional. I wouldn't say it's because my father is an actor. I'd say it's because even if he wasn't an actor, or if I didn't want to be an actress, if I wanted to be a doctor, I would want to be exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
So any career path that I got in, I would want to be exceptional, and not just for myself, but I think whatever career path you get into, you should want to excel in it. You should want to be the best, and you shouldn't be involved in a career if you just want to skate by. Currently, I work at a restaurant right now, and I would like to say that I'm the best host that they have there. And although it's a silly job, and I'm just seating people or taking orders, whatever job I do, I want to be the best at it, or I want to excel in it. So any career I would have picked, I think I would feel the pressure to be the best.
Alex, this is a good point to take a break.
Okay.
Let's take a short break. We are back with the lovely Alex Beach. Alex, who inspires you?
And this might be a very cliche answer, but my father definitely inspires me. Um, he's just a really hardworking man. Uh, he's hardworking, and he doesn't just do it for himself. He does it for the people that he loves, for his family, and that's just inspiring. And I'd like to be like that one day.
What advice you have for other young people who want to pursue a career in TV and film?
What advice?
Yeah.
Uh, well, definitely, I would say to just continue working on your craft, whether or not that's going to school for it, or taking acting classes, doing showcases, reading, doing and getting books and just reading about your craft, because you can always continue to learn, and just prepare. When you have an audition, just prepare. You don't ever want to go in unprepared, and just keep trying, because it's not something that's going to happen after a year or 2 years. It's going to take a while, unless you're really lucky, which sometimes happens. But just keep going at it. If you really want it, then that's just what you got to do.
You're talking about preparation and schooling. I understand your dad taught you.
He did, yeah.
What was the go ahead.
Yeah.
What was the
He
most
helped.
sorry.
I'm sorry?
You no, well, okay, let me ask this. What's the most what surprised you the most about your dad in the classroom and you as a student?
Um, I'm not saying I was expecting any, but I definitely didn't get any special treatment, which surprised me a little bit. He just treated me like one of his students, other than, at the end of the class when he would drive me home. But in that room, I was just another one of his students. I mean, yeah, that definitely surprised me. I learned some things.
I want to mention something that I neglected to mention at the beginning of the show. That especially for those who are joining us for the first time, this is a three-dimensional show. There's a chat room in which the audience gets to participate by asking questions and making comments. So I'm going to go to the chat room for a second. I see G asked a question, which is there a technique for learning or memorizing your lines if a character you're playing has a lot of dialogue?
Okay. I don't really have a specific technique, but there is something that I personally do. I don't really focus on memorizing the lines. What I do is I focus on what my character is trying to say with that line. I focus on intention and want and need, and through that, it just kind of happens where I just memorize the line. But I don't really focus on specifically memorizing the line itself.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do
I
you?
think I just have a really good memory too, and that might be it.
I guess that helps.
Yeah.
Do you like action movies or are you more into dramas? And what interests you?
Oh, I love everything. I love action movies like Fast Five. I mean,
Oh,
very entertaining. I wouldn't say it's Oscar worthy, but very entertaining.
yes.
I love action movies. I love dramas. I love romantic comedies. I love D movies, Rocky Horror Picture Show. I love all types of movies.
um, where's your favorite place to watch a movie?
To watch a movie,
Hmm.
that would have to be my couch.
Really?
I love sitting on my couch and having the lights off and watching movie and eating popcorn. That is my favorite.
The couch, huh?
Absolutely.
What surprised you the most about being on the set of Criminal Minds?
Ah, what surprised me the most? I mean, it would have to be how nice everyone was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of went in expecting to be the odd one out, and expecting people to kind of be like, who is this girl, you know? But nobody was like that. Everyone was so extremely nice. It was also really surprising that almost the whole crew and some of the actors too had worked with my father before, and that I'd met them when I was, you know, in diapers and couldn't speak. So that was definitely surprising.
If you had to play a role alongside your dad, what would be your ideal role to play alongside him?
Well, I was in a play with my father last December, and I actually got to play his daughter, and I really enjoyed that. So I guess it'd be really awesome to play my father's daughter.
Wouldn't that be too easy, Alex?
No, it made it more difficult
Why is that?
because it made it harder in a way to be vulnerable with him
Oh,
because some of the material we were working on kind of hit close to home, you know? So it made it almost a little harder for me to be more vulnerable with him because I deal with these things with him in my actual life. Whereas somebody else, you know, who I don't really know that well, it's almost easier for me.
oh my gosh.
So it was difficult.
Well,
But I think we did some really good work together, and yeah, it was really fun. I guess I just like to play my father's daughter again.
I hope he's listening. Perhaps he would ensure that happens for you. Well, what are some of the challenges you face, or let's say, period? What are some of the challenges getting into the industry?
I'm sorry, getting into the audition?
In the industry,
Oh, into the industry. Well, there's always going to be, you know, challenges that come from outside of yourself, but I would say definitely now the things I'm struggling with the most are just personal issues, you know, like, oh, am I not good enough or am I not, you know, and those kind of just eat at you. But you just kind of have to remember that at some point it's not in your hands anymore. You just have to prepare the best you can, go into the audition room. You know, if you leave that room feeling like you did the best job you could do, then that's really all you can do. Because after that, it comes down to, you know, oh, she's not tall enough, or oh, her hair's too long, or her skin complexion's too light. You know, so you just can't beat yourself up about things like that. You just got to prepare the best you can and leave the room knowing you did the best you can. If you leave the room thinking you could have done better, then, you know, do better next time.
do they actually give you feedback after an audition as to why they didn't pick you?
Yeah.
Oh, they do. Okay.
What I do is I usually, after an audition, if I feel I did really well or if I feel like I didn't do well, I'll ask my agent, I'll email them for feedback. And within like the next day or so, they'll give you feedback. The casting director will email your agent back and give them the feedback from the audition. But yeah, it's good just to know what you could have done better, or you know that they really liked you, but you were too short. You know, things like that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Did you have any expectations of easier access in the industry because of who your father is?
You know, I wouldn't say I had any expectations, but I would have to say that it has been easier.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to lie and say that it's just as hard because I don't think it is. It has been easier. I mean, my father knows a lot of people and a lot of people like him, you know. So I got my agent through my father, and you know, I meet people through him. So it's not all his doing,
Right.
I would say, but it's just definitely easier because of him. I wasn't expecting it though, but it is. I don't know how people outside of the industry get involved. I really don't.
That's honest.
Yeah, no, it's difficult.
I want
You
to,
just
yeah,
gotta
go ahead.
try.
I want to shift a little bit, and uh, this particular actress, Viola Davis, I happen to like a lot, and I found that your father and I have this in common. Um, and on the Oprah Winfrey Network, she mentioned that there are few categories and limited roles for black actresses. Um, Black actresses, she went on to say, are in crisis mode because of the quality of the roles. I know you were quite young, Alex, and so forgive me if this is unfair, an unfair question. But if I may, what are your thoughts on that?
Um,
On the quality, the quality of the roles that are available and the limited amount of categories that are available for black actresses. Have you ever
well, I
thought about
mean,
that?
I'd have to agree. There definitely are limitations. Um, you don't.
I was about to go to the chat room and ask a question.
Okay.
G asked, do you ever attend auditions in character, as in costume? If so, has there been a character that resonated with you other than Lady Macbeth?
Um, I do like to dress for the character as best as I can, as far as like my wardrobe, as far let me.
Oh,
um, but there was definitely one character I kind of resonated with. She was, they described her as very blunt and I don't know. I kind of resonated with that. They said she was funky and like fun, and she had tattoos, and she was kind of blunt, and you know,
you
it
like
was
this?
nice for me not to have to hide my tattoos going in for an audition. And I had clothes that I thought would work really well. I was wearing like this really awesome leather jacket, and I went in with my red lipstick, and I just I was very excited that I didn't have to hide my tattoos for an
Did
audition.
you get the part?
No, I didn't, unfortunately. They said I looked too young.
Oh, too young. It must be in your genes.
Well, yeah,
I'm not gonna go further in that. Um,
it's definitely something I see myself running into is finding the right age for myself.
right.
Um, when I go in for younger roles, they say I look too old, but when I go in for older roles, they say I have like a baby face and that I look too young.
Oh my God.
So that's something definitely that I'm falling into right now. That's
How would you talked about tattoos and the red lipstick and you described this character that you felt so comfortable dressing up for. How would you describe your personal style?
uh I honestly I wouldn't know how to describe it. It's very different.
Mm-hmm.
My stepmother, you know, would always ask me like, "You're wearing that? What is that?" My dad likes to call me Cleopatra. So it's just I like a lot of I just like funky things. I like one usually one piece of clothing that is a little off, and I will tailor my whole wardrobe, like my whole outfit around that one piece of clothing.
Wow.
Uh, but definitely a little on the funkier side.
Okay. But what can you not live without in your closet? What piece of clothing?
What piece of clothing? Oh my
Or
goodness. Oh no, that's a terrible question. I have so many.
okay.
I love clothes. I love them. I have so many clothes I couldn't live without. Um, but my leather jacket.
Mm-hmm.
I have four leather jackets, but I have one that I could not live without, and it is just your plain black leather jacket. It's got like zippers everywhere. I love it. I wear it all the time.
And where do you draw your inspiration?
From clothing?
No, 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 no. Sorry.
Oh,
But
I
you
was
know
like,
what?
what?
Let's go with the flow. Let's go with that. Where do you draw
With
your
clothes?
inspiration in clothing? Where does that come from?
I, you know, I think it came from when I was in high school. I had a lot of ideas of like how I wanted to dress, and I wasn't allowed to
Hmm.
because of the clothing restrictions they had at school, and so I would I would like make my own clothes in a weird way. I'd like cut them a certain way to where they could be hidden around the teachers, but during like lunchtime, I could like drape something off my shoulders and it would be so. I definitely think it has to come from that. And the older that I got, the more I, just searched for those types of clothing that I like to wear, and I got the confidence to wear it. In high school, I wasn't very confident at all. So I didn't really have the confidence to wear the clothes that I wanted to. And when I got older and I found this confidence in myself, I was just like, well, now I'm going to wear whatever I want to. So
I like that. So now I asked the question about inspiration a different way. For acting, where do you draw your inspiration?
I mean, honestly, I want to be able to make a living doing what I love to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love to do. I love to act. And, I don't think there's any other way that I could make a living. So I just kind of draw my inspiration from there, I guess, trying to be successful in what I love to do.
Gotcha.
I don't want it to be a hobby. I want it to be a career.
Well, what words of wisdom from any of your parents do you incorporate in your life?
Well, definitely hard work wins for my father.
Hard work wins.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And this one's going to sound a little funky, like a little funny, but my mom always told me that even when you're upset, to wear a smile because people can hear a smile. And
Whoa.
When you make other people smile, it'll in turn make you feel better and it'll make you smile.
I like that. I like that. I like both of them.
Yeah,
Hard work wins and always wear a smile.
Always wear a smile.
So some of the qualities, Alex, I noticed during our conversations are how humble and independent you are. What can you say about your parents and their principles that have instilled these values in you?
Well, I mean, there are so many. I definitely got from my mother just being humble and trying to be, not judge anyone or anything off of the first time meeting them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To just kind of welcome everyone into your life, and not judge people. For my father, I definitely got, working hard, trying to do your best at whatever you do,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is very important. But I mean, there's just so many things that I've gotten from both of them, not just the one, but from both parents.
Right.
And I wouldn't be the person that I am without either one of them in my life. So, yeah, I'm just very thankful to both.
And this is just a follow-up question. Why do you think you are so grounded at an age when similar young people with famous parents are behaving either irresponsible or spoiled?
I don't really know. I don't know how to answer that question.
That's fair.
Only because the people that I know my age are like me.
Gotcha.
So I don't really know many 21-year-olds or, 18-year-olds, however young. I don't really know many younger adults that are irresponsible.
Gotcha.
But it's probably just because I just don't surround myself around people like that. But I don't know. I don't feel like I'm one in a million. I feel like I know a lot of young adults that are just as driven or just as grounded as I am. But maybe I'm not seeing all of it.
That's okay. How much would you say is talent and how much is luck in TV and film?
I'd have to say a lot of it is luck.
Is luck?
I couldn't give an exact percentage.
Right. I understand. But luck plays an important role.
I think a lot of it is luck, but I don't think that should deter anyone from being talented,
Mm-hmm.
from working on their craft, because as much as it is luck, you want to go into every audition just blow them away. Even if you're not going to book it, you want to blow them away every single time. So that one time out of the 100 times you've gone out and the cards are in your favor, it doesn't just have to be luck. It could be, wow, she looks exactly like the character. She's the right height. She's the right color. And she was amazing, you know? So as much as it is a lot luck, I think that shouldn't, make people feel like it's not talent at all either,
You mentioned a recent passion for directing. What is the appeal to you?
I just feel like I've recently discovered that I think I'm really good at mediating, kind of calming people down and logically going, what are the choices that we have? Okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to happen. Just kind of directing things without being a tyrant, but just having control, having a good grasp over what's happening. And I discovered that recently while doing Rent, because I wasn't a director. I was the assistant director. But I really got my hands dirty, and I got to, kind of be the person in between, the production staff and the director and, the set designer, the costume designer. I was that person that kind of linked those people to the cast. And I found a real knack for dealing with people. And I think I'm definitely a people person. And I think it kind of, I'm not afraid to tell somebody, hey, you have to do this, or, hey, don't do this. And so, but, not in a rude way. And I discovered, I was like, wow, I really enjoy this. I had a lot of fun doing it. And recently I helped my friend out. They did a 64-hour film festival. Mm-hmm. And I was just supposed to be there to be an extra in their film. And I ended up, helping him, set the scenes and telling him where to go and what to do. It was really strange. I kind of, found myself doing that again. And then I realized, wow, I'm really interested in this. I think this could go somewhere. So I'm actually helping my friend direct a musical that should be going up in the summer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And in the chat room, Carol asked, does your dad critique your work?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But in a good way. I don't ever think there's bad critique. I would want somebody to be honest with me and tell me what I could have done better. And he definitely does that. He's not afraid to, and I appreciate that 100%.
I want to ask this question before we go to another break. While in school, and you said you were treated like every other student, did you ever feel like quitting?
Quitting his class?
Yes, his class, yes.
No,
not
at all. I mean, I think it was, just also the quality of the work that I was learning there was so, priceless. It's just like, why would I quit? Why would I leave? I was also really comfortable there, and I enjoyed being treated like another student. I did, because it didn't leave me any room to slack off.
arrowhead. I don't think you heard me. I said arrowhead. I love my golden arrowhead.
And we are back with the lovely Alex Beach. Alex, I want to go into the chat room for a second. Carol asked, what is it like growing up around famous people?
Um, you know, it was pretty normal for me because I was just, I mean, that's how I was raised, that's how I grew up. But it was a little strange when I would go out with my father and people would ask me to take pictures of them with him. That was definitely a little strange.
You didn't understand why?
I mean, yeah, no, I was just kind of like, oh, everybody knows my dad. You know, I didn't really get it. Because it's just kind of how I grew up, you know?
I understand. And G asked, given that roles are limited, whether generally or for black actresses, do you have any interest in eventually producing your own projects where you can showcase your talent?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, I was actually talking to a friend of mine for the more, immediate future. We were thinking of putting up a production. We were going to do a two-person, two-cast straight play, just to kind of produce our own things and get ourselves out there. But I definitely think on a larger scale, one day, once I have my career, settled and I have the money to do so, I would love to produce my own things, not just for myself, but for, young actresses and actors who are having trouble getting into the industry. I'd love to do that. Absolutely.
And what is your opinion, or what in your opinion are some experiences you drew on to guide you through the process of when you co-directed or you assistant direct Rent at the Skylight Theater? What are some experiences you drew on to guide you through that process?
Well, it was a difficult process, mainly because it was our very first production. We didn't know everything that were going to get into, I would definitely just say, well, my dad helped me through a lot of it, a lot of the problems. I would come home and just kind of vent, and he would help me through it. But I would honestly say I definitely learned that communication is so important. If people are not communicating with each other, if they're not saying, what they need to say, then things just build up and it becomes a mess. So I definitely learned that communication is key, and you gotta communicate with each other for things to go smoothly.
What was one of your most challenging moments in that role?
I'd have to say during the first, few weeks, few months of rehearsal, it was definitely getting people to take it seriously. Mm-hmm. Because the director, one of my closest friends, Sky LaFontaine, she's one of my closest friends. I love her. We were so, we had put everything into this, and we were putting everything into this. So it was our baby, and we were just, we were taking everything so seriously. And we had some people involved in the process that weren't taking it seriously. And it was almost just like a fun sort of side thing that they were doing, but they didn't realize that this was, that this was really important to us. Mm-hmm. So I think dealing with that was definitely one of the hardest things, and getting too almost getting too attached to something to the point where you don't want to change anything. You're just like, no, I was so attached to that idea where you were standing here on the stage, but now it doesn't look good, so now I don't know what to do. Like, just try not to get attached too much to one idea, because it could grow into something else and be gorgeous. You just never know.
So did you guys have to make many changes?
Oh yeah, we made a lot of changes. In Because we had, before we even started our rehearsal process, we had basically an idea of how the stage was going to be set, where the people were going to be. We had that all set up before we even started rehearsals. And by that, I mean, even before blocking rehearsals, like when we were just going over the script, like literally everything was set up before we started rehearsals. And I'd say in like the last month, we basically changed pretty much everything.
Was that difficult for you?
No, I mean, at first the idea of changing things was a little difficult, but once I realized that it just wasn't going to work the way we thought it was, once we both realized that and we were like, we could do something so much better, we just kind of let go of the sadness that came with it.
In the chat room, Jen asks, what do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? There's a lot of things that I do for fun. I play Magic the Gathering, which I don't think anybody knows what that is.
What is that?
Magic the Gathering, it's a card game. It's kind of like Pokemon for people that don't really know how you play the card games, but it's basically it's a card game where you battle like another person with a deck, and you get to create your own decks, and it's silly, but I like to play, and I have like 5 different decks that I've spent a lot of time and money on.
And Jen asks, again, is raising funds for projects very difficult for you and your friends?
Honestly, we thought it was going to be harder than it actually was. We didn't know this, but we had a lot of support behind us. A lot of support.
Oh, really?
And we actually used Indiegogo to raise the money. And, we had everyone in the cast, their family was extremely supportive, donating money. And the director's family was supportive. My family was supportive. And people really helped us. Even people we didn't know, who just saw our ad on Indiegogo. They were really supportive, and we definitely were not expecting it. But we made our goal, and we made it pretty quickly.
Wow. That must have been quite exciting.
It was very exciting. I mean, we had no idea that we weren't the only people that wanted to create opportunities in theater for people who don't have them. We had no idea that it was such a huge, overlapping issue that a lot of people wanted to help. I mean, it was wonderful.
You spoke about planning earlier in regards to to Rent that you guys directed. Would you say you're organized?
I'd say I'm fairly organized. There are definitely areas where I could do better when it comes to organization. I feel like outside of my personal room, because my room is a mess, outside of my room, I'm pretty organized. Like at work, I'm extremely organized. When it came to Rent, I was extremely organized, but my room is...
I should have been specific, Alex, and said about your work and your career. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to put you on blast like that out there. I wanted to ask you in regards to your work and when you're planning for a show or so on, would you consider yourself pretty organized? And I think you are.
Yes. I mean, in regards to work and all that, just
where do you see yourself in, say, 5 years?
Um, I don't really know. I hope that in 5 years I'm, you know, either just starting my career or like well into it.
Hmm.
But I know it really does take time. But honestly, I just see myself, trying to do the best I can, living life and, you know, trying to have fun still
Do you
and
have a,
I'm okay with that.
do you have a lot of fun
Yeah,
day to
yeah,
day?
I do.
Good, good.
And
Okay.
I honestly I think that life should be enjoyed. And if I don't make it to the point I want to be in 5 years, I will still be okay with that. I will just keep trying. Because I mean, otherwise, what's the point if you're not
I
enjoying yourself, if you're not having fun and working hard, you know?
um, let me ask you another question from the chat room, and we'll take a break. How does having a famous father help you in the industry? That's Jen. Sorry, Jen asked that question.
Um, well, a lot of people know who he is,
Hmm.
so it's people tend to be friendlier, if they know that I'm his daughter. They
Hmm.
tend to be a little friendlier, or it might be easier for me to get into the audition room. Um, but yeah, it's really kind of just a conversation starter, which is always really nice. I'll
Hmm.
go into the audition and somebody will be like, "Oh, you're Michael Beach's daughter," and I'm like, "Yeah, hey, did you work with him?" And they're like, "Yeah." So it just kind of makes it. It's kind of just like a conversation starter, and you get to talk with them for a good 10 minutes, and they really get to know who you are,
Hmm.
which is great because it's really you want people to want to work with you. So the more you talk to them, it's like the more they get to know who you are, and the more they want to see you or work with you, and so yeah, it definitely helps.
Let's take a break. We are back with the lovely Alex Beach. Alex, I want to go to the chat room. Jen Joy L said, "Keep up the good work,"
Oh, thank you.
and Jen said, "I like your spirit. Keep up the good work. You have a very
Thanks.
grounded attitude. I like that."
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Uh, what keeps you motivated, Alex?
Um, I just have to say passion, I guess, would be the
Passion.
best word.
Hmm.
Um, I really want to be successful. Um, and I know that the best way to do that is to just stay motivated and do the best work that you can. So, I guess that's what keeps me motivated.
And with all you do, work and so on, what do you do to relax when you just want to chill?
To relax. Honestly, I just invite a select few people over and watch TV.
Ah,
That relaxes me.
wonderful.
Yeah.
If you could change, and again, I emphasize how young you are, but I'm going to ask this question. If you could change one thing about your life, what would that be?
Ooh, okay. This is gonna sound really, really trivial, but I wish that I could change my habit for like not liking to work out.
Hold on. Not liking to work out?
Yeah, I hate working out. So I almost never do. And I keep trying to like motivate myself to go to the gym, but I hate it so much. I wish that I was like a gym buff and that I went to the gym all the time. So I was just like extremely healthy. That is definitely one thing I would change. Oh, my eating habits too. I have the worst eating habits. So
How do you get past your dad with? I know he loves to work out. I know that.
Yeah.
I know that personally.
Yeah, I wish I worked out as much as my dad does. I mean, yeah. Yeah. But I'm not a gym buff. I would definitely change that, and I would definitely change my food knowledge because I have the worst knowledge about food and what's healthy and what's not healthy. I would definitely change my food knowledge.
Do you enjoy working with other young people?
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. I love working with. Well, I mean, to be honest, I like working with all types of people. I love people, and I love getting to work with or talk to or anybody, especially people that are completely different from me. I love that because I like seeing what else is out there. I like hearing about different lives other than mine, So yeah, I enjoy working with everybody. As long as they like to work, I can't really work with somebody who is just not interested in what they're doing or not at all motivated. I can't really do that.
What don't you like about the industry?
That I'm not in it yet?
Okay, Alex. That's a good answer. Oh man. Okay. You got me with that one.
That's
What is next for Alex Beach?
What is next for Alex Beach? Well, next summer, Not a Scar Productions, the production team that my friends started to produce Rent, we're trying to put up In the Heights, which is very exciting. Hopefully you'll see my face on a few more things. I've been going out pretty often, so hopefully that, I get lucky and one of those ones I go out for, I'm perfect for, and you see me on the big screen.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
I am looking forward to it. And, what makes you giggle uncontrollably?
Oh, almost anything. I giggle at literally everything. Yeah, it's bad. I'm definitely the person you want to bring to a comedy show because I will laugh at anything. But uncontrollably, probably like cat videos of like cats doing really silly things.
Cats?
Yes.
Do you own one?
We used to, yeah, but I love cats, and when I see them doing really silly things, I can't help but laugh. It's adorable.
And the question that I ask every one of my guests, the last question, is what makes you laugh out loud?
What makes me laugh out loud? This is going to sound terrible, but people falling.
Alex, that you snuck up on me with that one. And okay, all right.
People falling, it's really funny. Like if you watch those like that show Ridiculousness or family home videos or whatever. Oh my god, those shows are so funny because it's a bunch of people falling. Yeah, it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh really hard.
Oh gosh. I should have asked this question before, but it's here. Do you feel pressure to look a certain way to increase your chances of being selected for roles?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I would like to be able to say no to that. But I do not want to lie to myself. I do. Yeah, I do. But I just, I got some advice from my Uncle E a while ago. I don't even know if he remembers giving me this advice, but he told me not to stress about, my weight. That's, he was just telling me basically, don't stress about your weight. Don't try to lose an excessive amount of weight just to possibly get a job, or don't try to like, gain a bunch of weight to get a job, or, either way. And he was saying, don't, unless they hire you and they tell you you need to lose 15 pounds, then do it. But he's like, don't even worry about it, As long as you're where you want to be in your life, then, it's fine. But I definitely, I wish I could say no to that, but I'd have to say yes to that. Because there's always a little worry, when you go in to the room and you see the other actresses or actors, and they're either thinner than you or whatever, taller, or their hair is longer. It's hard not to kind of wish you looked like that. But you just gotta focus on the work, You can't really change what you physically look like unless, you're at the gym all the time like my dad.
Okay. I'm not saying a word to that. In the chat room, Kim's... Oh, gosh. Alex. In the chat room, Kim asked, is your older sister in the industry?
I'm sorry?
Kim in the chat room asked, is your older sister in the industry?
No, actually. My older sister is not in the industry. But I think we're all in a strange way, are connected to the industry.
Okay.
So she's definitely the same way as I am when it comes to watching movies. Mm-hmm. And, just she'll analyze them like crazy. She's not in the industry, but she does like to write. So.
Oh.
Yeah. She likes to write. My younger sister, too, she's only 16, and she is an amazing poet. And I don't think she knows that she's a good poet, but she's read me some of her poetry, and it's amazing. And
wow.
I'm trying to get her to be more confident so she'll, read them to other people.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And Kim said again, enjoyed this. And so can you take us out with a few words of wisdom? Anything, any words of any advice for anybody, younger people especially?
Well, advice for anybody, if you know what you want, get it.
I like that.
If you know what you want, go after it. And that would be advice for anybody. Figure out what you want to do and do it.
I agree. Alex, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. I really enjoy this. So, thanks again.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice night.
And you too. Good night.
Good night.
Every day, more than 30,000 children around the world die of preventable diseases. More than 300,000 children are being used in war as child soldiers. Lord have mercy. A child should be loved. A child should be held. A child should be clean. A child shouldn't smell. A child shouldn't go to bed hungry at night. A child should be taught wrong from right. A child should learn to say thanks and please. A child shouldn't suffer from preventable disease. A child is a fruit that shouldn't be picked before it's time. To do that to a child should be